Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Chaitanya Chandra, Nitai Chaitanya Chandra Gaura Hari, Jaya Nitai Chaitanya Chandra, Jaya Nitai Gaura Chandra, Nitai Gaura Chandra Gaura Hari. Jaya Giri Radha, Giriran, Jaya Giri Raja, Jaya Giri Raja. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya. Jaya Radha Girdhari, Radha Girdhari, Radhe Jaya. Jaya Radha Girdhari, Radha Girdhari, Radhe Jaya. Jaya Radha Nilmadhav, Radha Nilmadhav, Radhe Jaya. Jaya Radha Nilmadhav, Radha Nilmadhav, Radhe Jaya. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya. Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Jaya. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Tango. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol. हरि बोल गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परमजगाचार्य अस्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद हिज दीवान ग्रेस शिला एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य शिला एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की। बीबीडी फाउंडर आचार्य शिला एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की। इस्कॉन वर्तमान आचार्य वृंद की। नामाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की। गंगा मैया की। यमुना मात की। श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की। भक्ति देवी की। श्याम वेद भक्त वृंद की। श्री श्री हरे कृष्णा धाम ह्यूस्टन की। मायापुर नागविप धाम की। वृंदावन धाम की। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की। गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Hare.
माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ जय गिरिवर धारी जय गिरिवर धारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय गोपीजन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन जन यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन रञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपदा जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपदा। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Can you all hear back? Is it too loud or fine? Up? Good, okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, everybody. This evening we are going to have a discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And the text we are going to talk about is 9.2, 9th chapter, 2nd number. And it's on the screen. Okay? It's very auspicious to recite the Sanskrit words. Okay? So if sometimes you feel embarrassed, oh, I don't know how to pronounce it, try it. I would like to have few people at least try this. Okay? So we will do word by word. Rajavidya. Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyakshabagamam dharmyam susukham kartum avyayam. I'm going to recite only one time so more people have a chance. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam. Very well. Huh? Is it? Susukham kartum avyayam. Don't be shy. Come on, guys. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram idam uttamam Pratyakshabagamam dharmyam Susukham kartum avyayam. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram idam uttamam Pratyakshabagamam dharmyam Susukham kartum avyayam. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram idam uttamam Pratyakshabagamam dharmyam Susukham kartum avyayam. Mataji. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pratyakshabagamam dharmyam Susukham kartum avyayam. One more. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram idamuttamam Pratyakshabagamam dharmyam Susukham kartum avyayam. Rajavidya, the king of education. Rajaguhyam, the king of confidential knowledge. Pavitram, purest. Idam, this. Uttamam, transcendental. Pratyaksha, by direct experience. Avagamam, understood. Dharmyam, the principle of religion. Susukham, very happy. Kartum, to execute. Avyayam, everlasting. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception, very important word here, direct perception of the self by realization. It is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed. Now the purport is too long, and that's not the standard way we have been doing the Sunday Feast class, so we won't read the purport. And we will have a certain discussion now. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Radha Govinda Goswami Iti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So when we have been reading Bhagavad Gita, most of us, and I'm sure most of us have asked a question. Why does Lord Krishna call this the king of education? Why does he call this king of education, or the most confidential knowledge? Most confidential. And if this was the most confidential knowledge, why did he waste his time with Arjuna and talk about the other less confidential information? Thus questions should arise in our mind when we are reading this. So, in this particular chapter, Srila Prabhupada explains why it is called the king of the education and also the most confidential knowledge. Okay. King of education. We have all the universities, and I know some university students sitting in the class here today. We have all different kind of departments. We get all type of education. IT, right? The major one right now. Economics, the MBA, you name it. We have all these departments. And we get all that knowledge. Okay? But what is the difference between that knowledge and the knowledge we receive from the spiritual or from the Vedas, Vedic books? The knowledge we receive from the university, you see, it is not a realized knowledge. Okay? It's given to us from the books, okay? And it is temporary. Temporary in the sense that when this life is over, you may be PhD or you may be the Einstein, okay? But when you are dead and when you take birth again, where do you start? All that Einstein equals MC square and everything is gone, okay? That is the difference. The spiritual knowledge stays with you. Okay? All the devotional service we perform for the Supreme Personality of Godhead stays with us. It does not go away. Means that when you change the body, when you leave this body and gain another body, that knowledge, that devotion stays with you. That is the reason this is the king of the knowledge. The definition of Jnana and Vijnana. Okay? The realized knowledge versus the given knowledge. What we realize based on the Vedic knowledge and the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all these books Srila Prabhupada has given to us, based on that, whatever the knowledge we realize, okay, that is a true knowledge. That is the king of the education. We clear on that? Why is it called king of education? Yes, right? The next one is, why is it a most confidential knowledge? You want to take a chance? Yes.
Arjuna.
You are, by the way, he's a PhD student at the Rice University. So I picked on him. You are on the spot now.
As you just said, Prabhu, this is not the king of education at all. This is what really matters.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I think Arjuna was very qualified to listen to this. Arjuna was very qualified to listen to this knowledge, and which is somehow covered. And the more we somehow surrender to Krishna, the more this knowledge can be revealed.
Real knowledge, okay. This is my understanding of this, and also reading through the literature in the sense Srila Prabhupada's purport. Why is this the most confidential knowledge? It is the most confidential knowledge sometimes when we don't accept certain things and gets hidden somewhere. Confidential in the sense, in the material, when somebody says it's a confidential, it has a different meaning. I'm telling you, don't tell anybody, okay? That's confidential. Okay? But this knowledge sometimes is hidden behind some other knowledge or philosophies. That is the reason it's called most confidential knowledge. Okay? So, what is the other philosophy, or what are the other knowledge that Lord Krishna is talking about that is less confidential, and here now he is telling Arjuna is the most confidential. The less confidential knowledge, or the term used, is just a confidential knowledge. Not the most, but the confidential knowledge. The confidential knowledge means the karma khanda activity, jnana khanda activity, and the dhyana yoga. Those are the activities that Lord Krishna talked about it in the beginning chapters, before we got to the chapter 9. The chapter 9, in the purport and also in the text, it says that whatever the karma kanda activity, jnana kanda activities, and also the dhyana yoga activities we perform, all that culminates. Culminates means reaches the highest point. You know, when we say, oh, this is the most exciting thing. In the same way, this is the most confidential because it culminates, all that knowledge culminates into the devotional service. So chapter 9 is about a devotional service, and that is the reason it's called most confidential knowledge. Okay. So why did Lord Krishna spend Arjuna's time talking about all these other activities? Because Lord Krishna knew, in not only in Kali Yuga but in other Yuga also, we are, in name of the Grahastha, we do a lot of other activities. So he wanted to be clear for Arjuna what was the karma kanda activity and what was the jnana kanda activity. And what does that mean? He wanted to make sure that Arjuna understood that. When somebody talks with you all different options, then you make an educated choice, saying, okay, I'm going to go with this or I'm going to go with this. So that's another reason also all of those other philosophies are talked about. So what is the karma kanda activity? What is karma? What is the simplest definition of the karma? Somebody. This Prabhuji, give it to him.
Any action like your action, speech, thought, everything is karma.
Okay, no, perfect. You are fine. So karma means any activity, any action. And each action has what? Reaction. Either that can be positive or it can be negative. Right? So it depends on your karma. So in the literature, it's defined there are two types of activity. Sat karma and asat karma. Okay? Now the sat karma means, and this is what we hear sometimes from our friends, at least I have heard from my friends. hey, I am doing fine. I don't need to come to the Hare Krishna or join Hare Krishna or do the chanting. I do enough donation, I help Food for Life or cow protection or whatever. Okay? Those are sat karmas. That does have a positive reaction to it. You get benefit from it. Okay? But those benefits, we know that takes you to the next upper planetary system. You enjoy the benefits, and when those benefits, just like a account, you have a certain amount of balance, and when that balance dwindles and goes down to zero, what happens? Your bank calls and says, hey, you got overdraft, right? So that doesn't work, by the way, over there. There is no overdraft. Okay? When it reaches zero, the demigod says, you got to go take birth again. So we come back and we take birth again, and we go through the 8.4 million different lives and so on and so forth. So does that mean we should not be doing a sat karma? We should not be generous, or we should not be kind to the other people who needs help? No, that's not the point. We should be kind to the people. But along with that, we should be giving them Krishna consciousness, God consciousness. Okay? In English, we have a saying, I can't recite it exact the word, but, and maybe it's not appropriate in this class to say, but I'll say it and ask forgiveness from you. But they say, you can feed a man fish, and you can feed him one time, but if you teach him how to fish, he can eat all the time, right? Same way. You can feed him. Let's say, for an example, Food for Life. Wonderful program. Feed the individuals. How long are you going to be able to feed individual? 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 6 months, a year? Then you're going to say, wait a minute now, what is this here? Is it running a homeless house or whatever? Right? But if you give them along with that food, saying, be a Krishna conscious, God will help you, and this is the process, then maybe you might have to give that person more help for a longer period of time, but you know that when he leaves or she leaves this life, what's going to happen? Going to get a better opportunity in the next life. Okay? So you're helping that individual by giving the Krishna consciousness. So those are the sat karmas. What are the asat karmas? What does Srila Prabhupada says are the 4 principles? No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. Those are all adharmas, by the way. Okay? The definition used in the Vedas also is called Vikarma. Vikarma means any activity that you perform against a religious principle. Okay? And when you perform any activity that is irreligious, what is the reaction? Negative. Okay? So you are going to get suffering. So those 4 principles and some other principles, those asat activities we should avoid. Okay? And when we avoid that, then we are doing a sat karma. Well, Nayanamrta, you talked about doing a sat karma, but you are saying that it goes only in the higher planetary system and then you come back. So what do I do now? There is another path into it. It's called akarma. Can you think of any activity that you perform that doesn't have any negative or positive reaction? Anybody? Chanting, devotional service, right? So, if you do any activity for Supreme Personality of Godhead, okay, come clean the temple, serve the prasadam to the devotees, make garland, clean the temple, clean the altar, go buy bhoga for the deities and for all the fish that we cook here. Those are all devotional service. Chanting is a devotional service. Okay? So if we do the devotional service, any activity that we do for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not going to have any reaction. Srila Prabhupada says in one purport, if you do nice activity, let's say you fed somebody for 1 month, okay, free food for 1 month. Srila Prabhupada says you're going to get a free food for 4 months, okay, when you go in upper planetary system or when you take birth again, you have to take a food for 4 months. It's not an option. So even when you do good activity, you have to enjoy the benefits of the good karma. You have to suffer bad karma, you have to enjoy good karma. There is no option saying, okay, I'm going to do bad karma I have done in the past, or I'm going to do bad karma, but I will do the good karma and I will wipe it out, neutralize it. Guys, that's not how it works. You suffer for both. You suffer for bad karma and you suffer for good karma. Now, Yamraj may give you an option. I don't know whether that is an option or not. Say, what do you want first, But that depends on him. So, if you do activity for Supreme Personality of Godhead, then you are not going to have any reaction. Okay? And that is called a karma. A karma. One that is not a karma, that is a karma. Because you don't have any positive or negative reaction. So we talked about a sat karma that has a positive reaction. We talked about a sat karma that has a negative reaction. And then we talked about a karma. Okay, a karma, it gives you devotional service. And that's what this sloka talks about. It takes you into doing the devotional service. Now, doing the devotional service, we will get to what is the devotional service. But before we understand devotional service, we need to understand what is our relationship. Who am I? Why do I need to do devotional service? Okay? And why can't I just sit like a yogi in one place and do meditation, close my eyes or have a meditation, direct connection and fall asleep while I'm meditating with closed eyes? Whatever the case may be, why do I have to do all of those things? Okay? So first of all, we need to really understand who am I? What is my relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead? What is my relationship with God? Okay? I am just nobody or just one of the living entity or what? Yeah? Lord Krishna says, Mamayavamso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. All the living entities are my part and a parcel. Okay, that's wonderful. I came from Lord Krishna. Okay. So that means I must have same qualities as Lord Krishna does. Lord Krishna is Sat, Chit and Anand. Sat means eternal. He doesn't die, he doesn't take birth, he doesn't get old. So wait a minute, I get old. I came from him. I have the same quality as he does in a smaller quantity. So why am I getting old? Because as a soul, I have accepted this body, material body, that is made of panchabhuta, all the bhautic elements that we are made from. And that material body that we have. The soul is eternal. That is the main point. Okay? Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutvan na bhavita. Okay? Lord Krishna says there was never a time when soul did not exist. There is never a time that soul will not exist. And there is soul is existence right now. So soul is eternal. Lord Krishna also says that there is not a single moment, a kshan, fraction of a moment, that a soul cannot sit without doing any activity. You are sitting in here, I am sitting here, I'm speaking, some of you are quiet, but still, moving, I'm doing this. Your mind is gone somewhere. You're thinking, what am I going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow is Monday, I have to do office work or whatever. Right? Your mind is working. So soul is never quiet. It's quiet in the sense, means always doing the activity. Lord Krishna said, there is not a moment when soul is not active. In the same way, I am also active. Because if he is not active, we don't have that quality. If he is not active, we will follow. If he is doing that, then why not we do it? We will sit in one place and we won't do any work either. Okay? So he is active and we are active. But the activities that are talked about, Satkarma, Vikarma, Akarma, all of those different type of activities we are performing, those activities we perform in this material world. But when we become liberated, liberation means mukti or freedom from janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi. So when we get liberated, okay, what happens in the liberation? The soul now performs the activities. Soul is still active, remember? Whether you are in a material world or whether you are in a spiritual world. The soul is still active. And those activities the soul is performing in a spiritual world because of the liberation, got a chance to go to the spiritual world. Those activities are called devotional service. That is the devotional service they are talking about in here. That culminates all the Jnana Kanda, Karma Kanda, all those activities that philosophies, we talk about it. Ultimately, those has to lead to the devotional service. If we don't, if that doesn't happen, then you go back into the cycle of life, birth, old age, and disease. You don't become free. Now, it says here in this particular verse, I want to cover this particular point. It says, you realize that pratyaksavagamam dharmyam. So as soon as you start the devotional service, it says you realize it. And I have a wonderful verse. I need to find there on what page I have it on. Found it. Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, chapter 2, text number 42. 9 Yogeshwar, they are the one who is talking about it. Okay? I believe it's a Kavi, I'm not sure. I'm going to recite that text and read the translation for you. Bhakti pareshanu bhavo viraktir anyatra chaisatrika ek kalah prapadyamanasya yatha snatasnus stusti prusti kshud apayo nu gasam. Now we're going to have prasadam after this class, okay? So, and we will discuss this food in here. Translation. Devotion, comma, direct experience of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Means direct realization, having activity with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's item number 2. And a detachment. Detachment from what? Not from Krishna. We want to be attached to the Krishna. Detachment from the material world, material activities. Those are the 3 things one of the 9 Yogeshwar says happens simultaneously. And to prove that point, what do they say? I'm going to read the translation. These 3 occur simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whoever has taken the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, then these 3 things happen simultaneously. Devotional service, direct experience with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and detachment from the material world. Those three things happen simultaneously, just like. And that just like is in the same way that pleasure, nourishment, and a relief come from hunger simultaneously and increasingly with each bite. So if you have been fasting all day, or if you took a prasadam after doing the Nirjala Ekadasi on Janmashtami Day, if you did Nirjala, then at midnight when you got that prasadam, you were ready, right? I am ready to eat it. So here it says, as soon as you see that plate and it's midnight, the pleasure is coming, okay? First bite. And as soon as you take that bite, you enjoy it, right? Pleasure comes. Oh, it's so sweet. I think we had a copra pak. So that sweet was so good. As soon as you took a bite, you said, that was wonderful. It's pleasure. What else happens? The hunger goes away. Hey, I'm not hungry anymore. It's starting to, okay? Don't get me wrong. Just first bite is not going to do it. Probably 6, 7 pieces of sweets will do it. But anyway, it's starting. Now hunger is going away. What else is happening? You're getting energy, you know? I feel strength now. All day fasting and I'm loose now because I didn't drink anything, water, and didn't eat anything, but now I'm getting a little bit energy now. So those three things happen. You don't have to do anything, do you? When you eat, did you have to do anything? Tell stomach, okay, I'm giving you something now, so be happy. Or give me the energy. Did you have to tell stomach? No. It was automatic. You got that energy. You got that pleasure. And that hunger went away. Same way, devotional service. Service, worshipping of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we should have one class, again, I said this before, maybe next time if I get an opportunity, I will talk about what is devotional service. We keep saying devotional service, devotionals. What is devotional service? We have discussed that, but we need to repeat that. So devotional service, as soon as you start the devotional service, simultaneously other two things happen. Slowly the detachment detachment increases, attachment decreases. Okay? And realization. People who have been in Krishna consciousness and have been doing chanting and all the devotional service for so many years, if you ask them, they will tell you, compared to when they started, they have a lot more realization about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They have a lot more realization about themselves. What am I? What is my relationship with Krishna? What am I supposed to do? Why am I here? Why am I here? Why am I not in the spiritual world? All of that realization, all of those things come automatically and simultaneously. Now, all of that doesn't come all of at one time, okay? Remember that bite? You had to take one bite and then feel, hush. And then you had to take a second bite and on and on and on. Same way, the devotional service, it has to increase. And when you reach to the pure stage, when you are out of the control of the three modes of material nature, Sattva gun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. Okay? I believe chapter 1854. Brahma bhuta patranatma na sochti na kaksti samas sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhakti lapte param. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, when three modes of material natures are gone, when you are out of those, now somebody might say, wait a minute, Sattva gun, you want me to be out of the Sattva gun too? Yes. You have to be in a pure Sattva gun. Sattva gun means, remember I talked about the Sat Karma? That is a Sattva gun. You are a nice person, you have kindness, you helping other people. Yeah. That is a mode of goodness. You have to be out of all of those. And when you are in that Brahmabhuta stage, that's when you begin the pure devotional service. That's when you talk with Krishna and say, hey Krishna, how are you? Okay. Until then, you have to practice. So that is the devotional service, that is the realization. Those are the main points in this text. I will be happy to take one question, right Chirag? Okay, one question. First of all, if anybody has a correction to what I have said. Any question? Uh-oh.
So this is in the 9th chapter. So it seems like the Bhagavad Gita deals with various levels of knowledge, the different degrees of confidentiality. So why did the Lord choose to speak about this in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita? Why not at the end? Typically, you save the best for the last.
Best of the last. Okay. This is the most confidential knowledge. Thank you, Rasikendra Prabhuji. Rasikendra Prabhu's question is, for the people on the internet, his question is, why did Krishna talked about most confidential knowledge in middle of the Bhagavad Gita on the 9th chapter? In the beginning he talked about other philosophy, and now he's talking about the most confidential. If this is the most confidential and the ultimate knowledge, then let's shut down and this is the end of the Bhagavad Gita, right? That's how we should. Excellent question. In the 18th chapter, Lord Krishna says, I told you all confidential knowledge, most confidential knowledge, but I'm going to tell you the most secret and confidential knowledge. Man manabhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru mame vaishati satyam te prati jane priyosi me. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam vraja aham tam sarva papebhyo moksha isyami masucha. Lord Krishna says, Arjuna, what is the use of all of these? Just surrender unto me. Accept me as I am. Who am I? I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am in charge of all of these. I am the controller. I am the bhokta. So come to me, surrender. Now surrender means, surrender and sarva dharman paridya. He says sarva dharman. Lord Krishna wasn't talking about the Jainism or Swaminarayan Dharma or Swadhyaya or whatever. What was he talking about? He was talking about all these other different philosophy. Karma kanda, Jnana kanda, Dhyan kanda. Also, he was talking about, what other activity he was talking about? Doing all this sat karma and everything. He says, give up all of those, including, what is the devotional service? Surrendering to him. When you surrender to him, you realize who Krishna is. And we realize Krishna through Vedas, by studying the Vedas, who the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna is. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, what's the use of all of this knowledge? I am in front of you. I am standing before you. Just surrender to me. Forget about all these other activities. Come to me. And do. Now, what does he tell you? Surrender to me in this particular text. What does that mean? He says, if you surrender to me, then do as I'm telling you. Fight. Don't stop. I hope I answered your question, sir. Anything else? I think we are done. Sorry. Chirag Prabhu? Yes. Give him a microphone, please. I have a hearing issue.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Little louder, okay?
Yes, in the 9th chapter, the 4th and 5th shloka, it says, Nacha Matsthane Bhutani. And
I'm sorry, say that again.
in the 9th chapter, the shloka 4 and 5, it says, Matsthane Sarva Bhutani Nacha Am Tesham Avasthita. all creatures are in me, but I am not situated in there. And in the 18th chapter, the 61st sloka, it says, Ishvara Sarvabhuteshu, Ishvara Sarvabhutanar Uddesha Arjuna Tishtati. So, how do you explain this contrast?
Okay. So, fourth text, can you please? Fourth, 9.4. 9.4. 9.4. Okay. So, you are saying, Lord Krishna says, I am in everything, but I am not, they are not in me. Bhautik Jagat, or the material energy, there is a part of Lord Krishna, isn't it? So, Krishna says, all of this is mine, okay? But I am not influenced by that.
Right, and then the 61st sloka in
64.
the 18th chapter.
I don't remember, so I'm going to have to depend on what he says.
There it says, Ishvara Sarvabhuteshu Ruddeshu Arjuna Tishtati Brahmayanti Sarvabhutanam Yantra Rudani Maya. So it is saying that there is God in every creature's heart.
Just a second. Prabhuji. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hrideshe Arjun Tishtati. Oh, Arjuna. Directing and wandering the. Okay, so what is the difference? Is that what you want to know?
To my mind, it's like a complete
Well,
contrast.
I think one part I answered the question. What is the second part? Now you want to know what is the difference here?
Why does it sound like it's a contradictory sloka?
Contradiction. Okay. Why does it sound like a contradiction? So Krishna is not influenced by the material energy. So that makes sense that all of this is in him because it's all his energy, but he is not in that because he is not influenced. So that's one part. It says in this particular text, the second part, 61 over there, the number was that living entities, Krishna says, I am helping them in wandering in this material world. Besides soul, who do we have in our heart? Super soul. And what is the role of the super soul? Updesha Anumanta. Okay? Approver and what is this? Second word. Updesha Anumanta okay. Witness and approver. Okay? So that's the reason. Super soul is always with the soul. Okay? And that, why? Because he is the witness. All the activities we are performing in this material world, who is the witness for that? For collecting, like a bookkeeping. All the good karma, bad karma, he is there. Anumanta. What do you mean Anumanta? Means he is approver. Now, we might say, if he is approver, why is he approving me to do the bad karma? You might ask that question. Okay? He is not approving us to do the bad karma. He said, stop. When we try to do bad karma or anything against religion, say stop. But we are so stubborn. No, I'm going to do it. Krishna said, please don't. He says, no, I'm going to do it. Then Krishna says, do it. So he is a guiding in this material world. All these materials, all these living entities are wandering. Why are they wandering? Because they are not accepting him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay? Thank you. With that, I'm going to close this. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai. Bol Premanande. Hare Krishna. No. Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Nayanamrta Prabhu. Nayanamrta Prabhu. Today we have two sponsors for our Sunday feast program. Disciples of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. They're celebrating Maharaj's Vyasa Puja. Also, Kubera Prabhu, in memory of our beloved Radha Bhav Mataji on her passing 10th anniversary. Couple of notes about the upcoming events here. Radhashtami, Srimati Radharani's appearance day, is on Saturday, September 3rd. Program starts here in the morning at 10:30. And then Bhadra Purnima is the day we make donations of the books, especially Srimad Bhagavatam. So this year we have a special where you can donate or sponsor a set of Srimad Bhagavatam for only $251. Our goal this year is at least 50 sets, and if you'd like to be a donor or a sponsor for a set of Srimad Bhagavatam, you can see Prabhuji here. If you would like a copy of Srimad Bhagavatam and you can't buy one, we'll be happy to donate a set of Srimad Bhagavatam to you. Also see Prabhuji for it, and he will be happy to make arrangement. Sunday school this year starts on Sunday, September 11th. Registration can be either done online from our website, or there should be devotees here who can help you in the front. The Sunday school is open for children age 5 through 15. And there are different classes for different age group that you can sign your child for. And if you have never inquired about it, it's a wonderful program, and you should definitely look into it. Just some housekeeping note about placing your shoes. When you come to the temple, there is a shoe room. I still see a lot of people leaving their shoes outside near the steps to walk up into the temple. So make sure you place your shoes in the shoe room. When you go to Gauranga Hall to take prasadam, there are also shoe rooms for men and women combined, and place your shoes there instead of placing the shoes in front of the hall entrance. And most of you have been following this instruction. The chairs in the back is for people that are not able to sit on the floor, so the younger crowd should be able to sit on the floor. That gives enough room for the seniors and people with some difficulties to sit down on the chair. His Grace Rati Prabhu will be chanting Kirtan in a couple of minutes, so the sponsoring families are requested to come in the front and help us offer Arati. Haribol. You placed your shoes in front of the temple, you may not find it outside because one of the volunteers has placed them in the shoe rack area. So if you don't find your shoes, they're where they should be. Haribol.
Yeah, sure. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरिर्नाम हरिर्नाम हरिर्नामैव केवलम् कलो नास्तेव 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 गतिरन्यथा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna